Welcome all those from Katriders for the Suzuki Katana 750 or 600s. If you're trying to grind valves and you got stuff that looks like this, it's hard to focus because it's so too close to the camera, and I got a cell phone camera, but it's gritty and grimy. It has little pit looking things almost on it, and I've been sitting here trying to grind this crap for a while, and I've discovered something that probably a lot of mechanics don't say to grinding valves. When you're using the freaking valve grinding compound and a drill motor with the piece of hose on the end of there, that way you can grab the top of the stem and stick your drill on there while pulling the valve just a tiny bit. It just takes a little bit of force or upwards movement, then just keep it seated there for like about a minute or two. What's happening here is that the valve has the valve margin, there's a little corner that develops, and what ends up happening is that the grind compound sits right there about that shiny area, but it doesn't get the absolute corners, and therefore it's kind of almost walking on the edge of that little corner, and it's actually keeping the valve surface and the face you're trying to cut. It's actually, let's just say if that corner there was the valve inside the head, and the little edge is holding it away, holding this surface away, okay, because there's this little bit there that's still sticking up. And what you can do is get this freaking little Harbor Freight tool right here, and you stick this little grind cutter thing on there, and then what you're gonna do is hold your valve, and you're gonna turn it while you lightly take that little edge off, and this is gonna help so much. Now, do not cut too far to make the valve margin really thin. Now, this is a motorcycle engine and the valves are really tiny, so you can get away with what would look like a tiny valve margin. For cars, you need a good amount of valve margin, probably upwards of 35 thousandths or 40 thousandths, and probably about there, and that's being the maximum that you can go down to as far as the thickness of the face here on the margin that it has to be. It has to have a little bit of a width to it, okay? So just take that little edge off and you will save yourself like forever if you take that little edge off and then you put the grinding compound and start your process there. Now, not all valves will be like this. I'm just simply stating that if there is when you hold this up to the light, you can almost see like a little indentation, like it's just, but it's not really like that. It appears like that because there's an edge on here that already wore into the valve that you will be removing so that you can get to that surface, and you're gonna have a way better experience doing these valves, and you don't have to sit here all day doing them, because I mean there's 16 valves. That means there's 16 valves, springs to compress and pull